Yes, as a matter of fact, I am the effing queen. Don't you love my mug? I love my mug. So, if you saw today's word art, you know that it's Yay You Day. And I posted a link so you can just click on it on what do I say, what do I do, and come straight back here to YouTube to see a little 6-minute video I did for you on Yay You. Seriously, it is so worth watching. It is so worth initiating into your life. Yay You is awesome. It's awesome. Oh, good morning, my friends. Hey, did you notice I was like a minute late? I'm sorry. Oops. Good morning, Henry and Marlene and Lorna and Opa. It's so good to see all of you this morning. Isn't that funny? I feel like I do see you, like I am with you this morning. So what is this morning? Oh, this morning has got some very special things going on. For example, it is the anniversary of Nabisco, which was, by the way, did you know that Nabisco stood for National Biscuit Company? There you go. That's your trivia for today. And I didn't even have to Google that. I actually knew somebody who worked for Nabisco and had a bunch of Nabisco stuff at his house. And one day I realized that he had this antique piece that used to hold Nabisco products, and it didn't say Nabisco. It said National Biscuit Company, but in the same lettering, same coloring. Anyway, that's what it is. So this day, like more than 100 years ago, 130 years ago, they came out with my favorite cereal. It's my favorite comfort food cereal, Cream of Wheat. Now, I understand it's kind of a baby cereal, but when I'm sick, what I want is Cream of Wheat. Yeah, seriously, Cream of Wheat is my sick cereal. I love Cream of Wheat when I'm sick. So, sorry, my hair's in my face. Can I tell you a little story about Cream of Wheat? Yeah. This is so dear to my heart. My mother, who was an amazing, excellent cook, she really was, but there were some things she just didn't do very well, it turns out, but I didn't know it at the time. My mother's oatmeal always had lumps in it. So I grew up thinking that that's what oatmeal was. So when I became an adult, or at least grown up enough to make my own cereal, I would purposely make it with lumps in it. Ergo, my children also grew up thinking that Cream of Wheat was supposed to have lumps. So I'm at somebody's house one day, and they make Cream of Wheat, and I'm eating the Cream of Wheat, right? But it just didn't taste right. I mean, there were no lumps in it. So I casually said, "Oh, I see you couldn't get any lumps in your Cream of Wheat this morning." And everybody started laughing. And I said, "Why are you laughing?" And they said, "Well, you're joking, right?" And I said, "Well, no, I wasn't joking. Turns out you're not supposed to have lumps in your Cream of Wheat. It's supposed to be creamy, ergo, Cream of Wheat. I thought it was supposed to have lumps. To this day, I will not eat it if it doesn't have little lumps in it. I love the lumps in Cream of Wheat. So thank you, Nabisco, National Biscuit Company, for bringing me Cream of Wheat." Oh, it's also the anniversary of the opening of, would you call it an opening? Yeah, I guess you would, of The Jazz Singer, which Al Jolson, it was the first talkie. And it like literally changed the motion picture industry completely. Silent films after The Jazz Singer weren't happening. The Jazz Singer would not be socially appropriate now anymore, because it was back in the days when, when people were dressing up in blackface, and it was a different time. And I can see now where that would be extremely offensive. But that was the beginning of our whole musicals and movies. Movie houses, by the way, are talking about shutting down all across America. It seems like with this COVID thing going on, there aren't a whole lot of us who are willing to go sit inside a room for a couple of hours, inside a closed room, even if we are social distanced. I mean, we're finding out that's not real safe. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. One of the theaters here in the desert, think they got very creative, big theater, but they rent out the theater to groups. It's $100 and you rent it out for 2 hours to a group of no more than 20 people. Well, I mean, 5 times 20, it's like still not expensive, but there are only 20 of you in the whole theater and you can pick from like a list of movies. They're not first run, I don't think, but classics. And you can have a movie party, a birthday party at the movies. You're still indoors though, and I was called to jury duty and I refused to go. I said, you know what? I'm over 70. I am not going to be in an enclosed space with a bunch of strangers. It's just not happening. So what are they going to do? Lock me up and send me to jail where I'm in an enclosed space with a lot of strangers? I don't know. Today is the anniversary of the birth of George Westinghouse. Isn't it funny how there's some names you can just say and you kind of know automatic? Oh, look, I just got a notice that Morning Coffee with Sandye is now live. I guess I must have subscribed. Anyway, Westinghouse, like when you hear his name, you just know it has to do with electronics, right? Yeah, it does. But interestingly, the first thing he invented that was like his beginning was an air brake for railroad cars. Just saying. Isn't it fun to like Google stuff and learn all this ridiculous, unimportant, unnecessary information? But if you ever run into somebody who randomly says, I wonder who invented the air brake for railway cars, you can now say Westinghouse. Let me give you an example of how these things work. When I was in high school, we had to memorize the prologue to Canterbury Tales in Middle English. Yeah. I mean, we all laughed about it. It's like, A, why do we have to memorize it when we could read it? B, really, the prologue to Canterbury Tales? How many people read that anymore? And C, in Middle English? Who speaks Middle English anymore? But we did. We had to memorize it. And I made fun of the teacher for years for making us do that. And then one day, I swear to you, this is true. One day, I am at my company. I told you I had a balloon business, and it was lunchtime. And we had this really cool table and chairs where the staff would go take lunch, and I would run the counter while the 4 or 5 or however many of them there were that day were having their lunch. So I'm at the counter, and I'm kind of half listening to what they're talking about. They're all high school and college kids, and I'm listening to them while I'm working. And I hear one of them say, yeah, and the book we're using right now is all about Canterbury Tales, but we're just on the prologue, but it's in Middle English. Who can understand it? Seriously, I heard her say that. She talks about it to this day, and it happened like, I don't know, 10 years ago. Anyway, I casually walk over to the table and I lean over her shoulder and I say, Wander April with the Shura Sota, the drocht of March hath persed to the Rota, and bathed every vine in switch liqueur, of which vertu engendered is the floor, von Zephyrus. Well, you get the idea, right? And I recited the entire prologue to Canterbury Tales right there at the lunch table. No kidding. And they all looked up at me like, totally. And Mr. Line, his name was Bert Line. That was my English teacher, my honors English teacher, senior year. And I thanked him in my head so many times over for making me memorize that, because I said nothing. I just did it, turned around, and walked back to the counter, never uttering another syllable about it. It was perfect. So the more crazy information you have, the more opportunities you will have to use it. It was great. Seriously great. What else? Thor Heyerdahl's birthday. You know who he is? The Kontiki. He's the one who set sail in like a homemade craft to show that ancient people really could sail the seas in, yeah, not interested in that. No, I'm not a water person. I don't know how many of you love the water. I can look at it, I can drink it. Not a water person, sorry. It is National Coaches Day. I have been doing coaching for, wow, at least a third of my life. I've been doing mindset coaching and business coaching, kind of life coaching. I haven't been doing a lot of that lately, except this way and doing my videos for you. Maybe it's time to start doing coaching again. I'll have to think about that. It's National Mad Hatter Day. I remember when I was younger, I had hat hair. Some of you probably have hat hair. You can like put on any hat and look amazing. Yeah. I was going to bring a bunch of hats out here and show you what I look like in hats now. With my hair long like this, it's not bad. But I have to be honest, I don't wear a lot of hats. But my daughter used to have a pink cowboy hat. She was a troubadour. You know, she was on the road, singer-songwriter, and she just, you know, was funky, and she wore this pink cowboy hat, and dag nabbit, she was hot in that. I want a pink cowboy hat. Yeah. Okay. It's National Noodle Day today. Actually, we celebrated it last night. We kind of went to a noodle house, called in, you know, like picked up dinner. My brother was in town and my nephew is here. So we all had dinner together and it was really nice. We had all kinds of noodly things and we had Chinese food. I love Chinese food. That was our thing last night. Wait a minute. This looks like important stuff. Did you know that Tupperware seals were created and designed after a paint can and lid? No, I didn't know that, Opa, but I do know that if I need some Tupperware, you're the one I'm coming to. My favorite Tupperware thing forever, and I don't know if they sell them or if they give them away still, but there was this like skinny yellow orange peeler, and you would like open up the orange. Yeah. You'd open up the orange and it made it so easy to peel an orange. Life was so easy back then. She said, yes, ma'am. So apparently, if you want one of my favorite tools, you're going to have to go to Opa to get it because I don't know otherwise where you get Tupperware nowadays, except from my friend Opa. By the way, you guys can PM me with requests for me to, you know, talk about what you're doing and what kinds of things you sell, and I'm happy to do that. If it's something that I use as well, I'm happy to talk about it. That's kind of fun. That was my favorite tool, though. That was it. I mean, I was a total. Okay. I thought for a while that my daughter was going to be betrothed to the heir to the Tupperware throne. I had a very, very dear friend who still lives up in the Bay Area and probably still sells Tupperware, who was like the person to go to for Tupperware for Northern California. Yeah, so I used to have a house that was like Tupperware from top to bottom. Love that stuff. Burping it is half the fun. What else? It is National Plus Size Appreciation Day. This is a tough one for me. It's very tough. We're going to spend some time on this in the future. My goal is to love my body however it is. I haven't mastered that yet, but I'm working on it. It's easy for me to love parts of my body, but for me to love my whole body exactly as it is, even when I think it's plus size, yeah. That's going to take a little work on my part. If you have some ideas, I'm open. What else? National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day. Hey, Mom, are you listening? In case my daughter's listening, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, what is that? National Transfer Money to Your Daughter Day? I'll have to think that one through. And I did have a topic I wanted to talk to you about, at least to touch on, and then I'll probably do like a little video on it again. I want to start a movement called MAD, not like Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, just one D, MAD, make a difference. It occurs to me that when you talk to most people and you ask them, what do you really want in life? Somewhere in those top 3 answers, they're going to say, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to make a difference in the world. It seems to be a human thing to worry at least a little bit about how you'll be remembered and about leaving some kind of legacy. And here's the deal. You don't necessarily have to do something big to have that happen. And that's going to be where I'm going with this. Robert F. Kennedy. Where's my glasses? First thing I want to say is you need to take a look at whether it's coming from ego or if it's coming from your heart. That good stuff you want to do, the making a difference. And by the way, even if it's coming from ego, that doesn't mean it's not going to make a difference. But just look at it. Just look at it. If you're going to leave a legacy behind, keep in mind that your legacy could have been a tiny little good deed that you did for someone, a nice thing you said, an acknowledgement of someone else that made their day. Someone said to me, why do you keep doing what you're doing? And I'll tell you why. Because the other day I got a private message from one of you probably that said, hey, I just wanted to say thank you. Because today what you said is exactly what I needed to hear. And I didn't think I was going to make it through the day. Not when I woke up this morning. But after coffee, I knew I could handle it. So thank you. That's why I'm here, folks. That's why I'm here. Peace and sparkles for sure. So Robert F. Kennedy said, few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events. It is from the numberless diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. It goes on, and it's beautiful. Or, you might like this one. Gandhi said, whatever you do will be insignificant, but it is very important that you do it. And the best way to be of service is to just lose yourself in others. Yay, you. Go watch the little video. I think you'll enjoy it. And there'll be another one coming up on MAD, making a difference. Get out there, my fellow queens and kings, and go make a difference, because the world needs you now more than ever. More than ever. Go be there. Good morning, everybody.